Many people right now in the United States are struggling just to keep up with their debt. And right now, millions of Americans are simply going to stop paying their debt altogether. Well, here's the big takeaway from this. We are now seeing government officials come out and propose new ideas, more stimulus to the American people. This includes paying off all medical debt and providing trillions of dollars in stimulus through a secondary mortgage. So I want to break down what's going on, explain why some Americans are not paying off their debt. When I actually read you a comment from one of the community members, how they actually got their debt forgiven by just not paying, and what you should be looking at moving forward. So I'm going to break all that down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So yes, now is a very interesting time where lawmakers are coming forward with new ideas to help those that are in need. But why? Well, here's the problem. Americans fear that they cannot pay back their debts because the debts that we've incurred over the past handful of years are now so big, they are just too expensive, and we are not making enough money to pay them back. Just give you an idea. If you have a $5,000 credit card debt, if you just make the minimum payments, you're going to be paying on that for over 200 and some months. Here's the big thing. It would actually cost you over $8,000 in interest alone just to service that debt. Before that's ever paid off, you're going to spend about $8,000 in interest. That means total you're going to spend about $13,000 to pay off that $5,000 in debt. That's why people can't get out of debt. But here's the thing. Because it is so just mind-boggling as to how we get out of debt, it just takes too long. Well, here's what's happening. We are seeing people refuse to pay back their loans. Even student loan borrowers are refusing to pay back their loans. And they say, live the life you want. This is what people have been saying for many, many months, is that if they cannot afford to pay off that debt, no big deal. It can go to collection. They don't care. Because the only reason why people were so concerned about their credit scores and about hurting their credit score was for one reason. Just one reason. I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is, but it's home ownership. That is it. If you want to own a home and get a good interest rate, you need one thing. Well, you need multiple things, but one is a good credit history and a decent credit score. Well, here's the problem. People do not care about their credit scores anymore because home ownership is unattainable. They say that was the previous American dream. Now it's just to live a life without being scared. That's it. Not owning a expensive home, a $400,000 home that really should be selling for about $180,000. That's not the American dream. I want to show you something though. Right now, Gen Z has an average of $2,834 in credit card debt, over 25% more than millennials before them. The reason why I bring this to your attention is because of this one reason. People are going and getting credit cards, but they're not necessarily paying them off. This is going to come back to bite us. And the reason why I say this is because this has happened before. When we had a decent amount of credit card debt back in 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, I think it peaked about 2011. That's what's scary. And delinquency rates, increased. I believe it was 2011. Well, it took a couple years. It took a couple years after we had such a difficult time with credit cards before we really saw what it was going to do to the economy and to our wallets. That's exactly what's happening now. This past year, we saw a lot of trouble when it came to credit cards. We saw credit card debt top $1 trillion. That is concerning because that means in the next year, we're going to feel the effects of it. Just look at this. This is a map showing the Credit card delinquency rates in the U.S. by state. Washington State, 15%. We also have a minimum wage of over $16. Oregon, 17%. California, $15. Okay? But if you look over here, these states where they're up over 20%, and some like Arkansas, okay, Louisiana, right? Yeah, 39%. Crazy. But these states over here, what is their minimum wage? Is it $7.25 an hour? Yeah, that's part of the reason why credit card delinquency rates are higher in those states, because they don't have the money to pay it off. However, here's where things are getting very interesting. Right now, lawmakers are seeing the writing on the wall. Understand, we are headed towards a financial catastrophe if the American people do not have some money in their pocket that they can go and pay their debts with. They can pay their electrical bill, they can pay their phone bill, they can pay their rent and their mortgage and their car payment and their insurance and their medical bills. But you know what's happening? Well, Freddie Mac has a proposal. They want to go and jump into the secondary mortgage market, and some say this is going to unleash a massive stimulus in the next year. Massive stimulus. Over $1 trillion in stimulus could hit the United States economy next year. But that's not all. That's only going to help those that have a home and have equity in said home. Well, Bernie Sanders has a plan. Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna, they both decided they were going to reveal a bill that's going to cancel all medical debt. All your medical debt gone. They have this plan. I want to read this, okay? Look at this. It says the bill, introduced with Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley and Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, would create a federal grant program to cancel all existing patient debt and amend the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act to block creditors from collecting past medical bills. The legislation would also update billing requirements for medical providers and alter the Consumer Credit Reporting Act to prevent credit agencies from reporting information related to unpaid medical bills, alleviating the risk of such debt damaging patients' credit histories. Keep in mind, like I said, many Americans, they don't care about their credit history anymore. The number one reason why they ever did was because we were being told that the American dream is owning your own home. The American dream is paying for an expensive home in a place that you may not even want to live, but that's all you could afford, so that's what you're going to go and get. If you don't care about your credit score anymore, you don't care about owning a home, well, guess what? You're not going to worry about your credit score going up or down. You're not going to worry about making payments on time, or if you don't even have enough money in the bank to make that payment. You are going to prioritize yourself over your debts. Now, I bring this to your attention again because this is what we are seeing. Millions of Americans have simply stopped paying their bills. But the worry isn't today. The worry is once all this stuff catches up to the financial sectors, the banks, those lenders. What happens then? I want to read you a couple comments. One person said this on my channel about a week ago. She says, I said this almost a year ago. Everybody should stop paying their bills and take a stand against our government. Now, I'm not here to say stop paying your bills. I'm not here to give you financial advice. If we stop paying our bills, the federal government would have to come out and bail out all these companies. If one person stops paying their bill, doesn't do it. If millions stop at the exact same time, the federal government would have no choice than to provide a bailout. I want to read you another comment. This person says, I haven't paid my credit card in 8 months, and today I received a letter in the mail saying that they are forgiving my entire $7,593 balance. Here's what I can tell you. There are still companies out there that have understand that they're never going to get their money. They understand that you are likely to just pretty much default on the entire balance, on the entire bill. And so they're going to pretty much write you off. They're going to forgive whatever the amount is. We know Capital One's doing it. We know Discover's doing it, right? American Express, same thing. All these credit card companies are doing it because they understand right now it doesn't make sense to keep sending more and more letters in the mail and trying to get that money back. And here's the other thing. I have a friend that works for a collection agency. He was saying right now, even his collection company, they are not going out there and trying to get more and more debt, trying to buy all this debt, because they know the majority of it is never going to be recovered. And a collection agency, their recovery rate isn't great anyway. But here's the problem. They are now going after people that have no way of paying this. You just don't. And then the people that signed on as their references or a co-sponsor or whatever you call it, co-signee, that, again, same thing. They don't have the ability to pay it. And so we are in a very interesting time right now, but for the millions of people that have just stopped paying their bills, I get it. But understand, if all the other people that say the economy's strong, the economy's great, we're not seeing any negative things, we are seeing negatives. And we will really see those negatives probably within the next 6 months to 2 years. That's at least what experts believe. So we'll see what happens. All I can tell you right now is I'll be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.